I think the How to Stop Worrying and Start Living was probably one of the earliest books that influenced on how I overcome fear.
Oh, nice.
Because fear is a form of worry, right?
Yes.
Fear is worry enhanced.
Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video. Hello, Fearless Freedom Tribe. We are back. And oh my goodness, we have quite the story for you today. You know, we always bring it. Today we have Sean Lee, and he is going to tell us all about who he is and what he is up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. G, for having me on. So I am a serial entrepreneur. I think that's what people like to call me. I just think of myself as a problem solver. I love finding problems to solve. And I think that's the inherent nature of entrepreneurship, right? Always looking for something new. And the beauty of it for any listeners is once you find a solution for a problem, it always creates a new problem. So they will never be, you'll never run out of problems to solve, basically. And so the story that I always tell is that I keep graduating into these downturns, economic downturns. The first time was around 07, 08. And then this past year, actually 2 years now, it's 2022 now. In 2020, I graduated from my MBA at Berkeley. But the first time,
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. But the first time, I say 07, and you're a Michigander, so you would know what happened.
Yes. Oh, I know.
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, it was. It's very fresh in my mind. We were talking about it last night at dinner, actually.
Oh, really? I mean,
yes.
A lot of people think, you know, the recession happened in 08 because of the subprime mortgage crisis. I'm like, in Michigan, no. People forgot that the auto industry collapsed and had to be bailed out.
Yes.
And that's when I graduated. People were
oh my gosh.
moving out of Michigan. I mean, I remember
they were in droves.
I remember, right? Elementary schools and middle schools were shutting down because they didn't have enough students. It was so crazy at that time. But yeah, so that's kind of the environment that I graduated into. With a finance degree, the first finance and accounting degree, the first time around. Went to Michigan State University. Go green, go
Come
white.
Come on. Didn't go there, but you know, I still would cheer for you.
Yeah. Well, my brother, if you're a Wolverine fan, my brother is a Wolverine, so we have a divided.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Well, my husband went to business school at U of M, so I have to kind of like.
Okay. Yeah, he's a Rossi. And I'm a Hossi.
There you go.
And so I, went into finance briefly coming out of college, but during these economic downturns, I always feel like it's a prime time to find and start a new business because kind of everything is resetting, right?
Absolutely.
And you can be that phoenix rising from the ashes, and so that's kind of the story that I bought into, because I remember hearing about the Great Depression, how some of the greatest businesses actually came out of the Great Depression, how some of the greatest businesses, tech businesses today came out of, the 2001 tech bubble, right?
Oh yeah.
And whatnots. And so that took that opportunity, started a couple of e-commerce businesses with my buddies. But even though our core competency or our moneymaker was the e-commerce businesses, our core competency was actually around education. We, did not know at the time that YouTube would be what it is today. We just thought it made sense to make some videos, shoot some DIY how-to videos, showing people how to do things on YouTube, and then subsequently sell the products related to that video, right? So had those businesses for, well, actually one of them still around. I sold out of them. I was in them for about 8-9 years, I think, almost 10 years. But along the way, I've just really wanted to get into tech. This is why I ended up going to Berkeley for my MBA. I wanted to be in the Bay Area. And that was the impetus for me for opening a co-working space in downtown Los Angeles. This is around 2011, 2012, when, before WeWork became a household name and then imploded. But
circumstance. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, they were very interesting when they came to town. But regardless, I was really trying to find a way to build community and get closer to tech. Because at that time, again, people may or may not remember, 2011 was when the App Store really started taking off. And here I am still shipping physical goods with an e-commerce store, but there's these brilliant engineers just shipping these apps, right? Like Flappy Bird, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought, hey, why can't we create digital goods?
Right.
And so fast forward, I guess almost 10 years now, 2012. I am the founder of two startups around podcasting. One is called Ventures.fm. Our other name is called Alumni.fm. It's basically a production house for podcasts. We produce podcasts for higher ed, focused on alumni communities to start. But we also produce podcasts for businesses, organizations, and whatnots. And the reason I fell into that business was because I started a podcast during my MBA at Berkeley. Berkeley didn't have a podcast, shockingly.
Really? That is shocking.
Yeah. Right?
How is that even a thing? Like, how could they not have one? I mean,
I know, in the Bay, especially.
That's like crazy.
I was the reason I found out was because I was looking for a podcast when I was applying for business school, and they were one of the few schools that didn't have one. So once I got on campus, I mentioned I'd experienced with YouTube. I thought, hey, why not just start a podcast and help build community here? And I did it for 2 years as a passion project, just me, myself, and I self-funded it. And then the university finally caught on, and they wanted to support it and get behind it. Nice. And so they
only took 2 years.
Yeah, only took 2 years. Yeah. You have no idea. There's some not horror stories, but universities or any kind of these organizations are so bureaucratic. It's
snail space.
It's we call them icebergs. But yeah, they asked me to do a dedicated alumni podcast, and I thought, okay, that's awesome. Like, thank you. I'm so honored. But in the back of my head, I was thinking, I didn't come to the MBA to do podcasting.
Right.
That's not why you go to business school, right?
Right.
And I was just like, all right, I'll do it, because they really sold me on interviewing CEOs and meeting awesome people, and entrepreneurs like yourself. And I just thought, all right, let's look at what other schools are doing for inspiration. And what blew my mind was I couldn't find any.
That's interesting. So you found, what do they call that? It's not a pain point. You found a pain point.
Yeah. I found this void, right? Where we have, we go to these schools, let's say like Michigan Ross, and we they tout this amazing network, the alumni network.
Yes.
Right.
They do have an incredible network.
Right.
You can't access it.
Exactly. Like, what do you have to access it? You have LinkedIn, which is, read people's resumes, and you might have some newsletters, right? And magazines.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's 2022. Come on.
Nobody's reading it. If it's not
and where's like the real connection and deep perspective, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's where podcasting really brings that out. And so I thought, hey, if I can do this for Berkeley, let's do it for any other school that wants to do it. And so that's how Alumni FM got started. Okay. But I had said that I came to the business school to get into tech, right? And so that I was like, this building a production company is as far from tech as possible, I feel like. And so I figured out a way to put the business on autopilot. We built a team really quickly in the past year. We have crazily 25 plus people now within a year.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
In hindsight, it is pretty awesome.
Like, that is like 25 people's lives are now like changed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's incredible.
I mean, now you put
in
it
a
like that. That's
situation,
true.
well, in a time when people are like, losing jobs or walking away from jobs, to have created, jobs, 25
Yeah.
jobs, from one person. That's pretty incredible.
I mean, I can't put all myself. We have an amazing team, so they do all the work. I'm just the mouth.
Got it.
But
I'm the idea guy, right? You're like, I'm the
yeah,
idea
the
guy.
idea guy. But I automated it because I want to focus on a tech business, and the tech opportunity, the pain point that I found was in podcast engagement, right? As podcast hosts and podcast listeners that are listening to us today, there's really no way for us to interact in existing podcast apps. The podcast app right now that you're listening on, probably Spotify or Apple, only allows for playback pretty much, right? Spotify just recently introduced some Q&A features and polls and whatnots, but come on, it took them how many years to do that? Right? and that's all we get, right? When you hear something interesting, what do? You have to go Google it outside this app. We mentioned a book today, you got to go to Amazon to buy it. For crying out loud, you're listening on a smartphone. Why can't we just click on something, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the impetus for me and my business partner, my co-founder, to start Clever.fm, which is what we call is the YouTube of podcasting, or the most interactive podcast app.
Oh, interesting. So now I am always interested in learning more about things having to do with podcasting, obviously. But so now you got to tell us a little bit more about that. Like, so how big is the platform, and like, who is it open to, that type deal?
Yeah, so it's open to it's open to anybody who listens to podcasts, or any podcast host. Just like any other podcast app, we have 99.9% of podcasts in our app already, because podcasts are public RSS feeds. So you can access all the podcasts. And, in terms of the size, we are a brand new startup. I mean, we launched the app in November, which was...
Oh, wow. So just a few months.
Yeah. So just a few months. And that's, we're really focused on growing it. We're, investor backed. We were recently invited to join Techstars Music, whose investors and partners are, Sony Music, Warner Music, Amazon, just the biggest names in media entertainment.
Nice.
And so we're really feeling very fortunate that these are the kinds of people that will be in our circle.
Absolutely. No, that's good company. It's fantastic company. No, that's great. Hey, it's Dr. G, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for listening to this episode. I'm so honored to have you here with me. Did you know that I can help you to get your own podcast started? With my podcasting launch course for professionals, I walk you through everything you need to know about starting a podcast. I'm with you every step of the way, from sign up to launching your show, with 5 episodes ready to go. There's a done for you version that's also available. If you would just rather just do recordings and leave the behind the scenes work up to us, then that one is definitely for you. But either way, we've got your back here at Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Oh, if you already have a show and you need production services, we have monthly plans available for you. So check out the links in the episode show notes for more information. Let's get back to the show. So this is like, your story is pretty incredible. But that on this show, we had to talk about fear, right? That's right. I know I could think of several points along the road of this story where you may or may not have encountered fear. You know what? Let's talk about when you graduated the first time into a very, very odd situation in Michigan. Yeah. Did you feel fear then, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, I have to preempt that with I deal with fear on a weekly, if not a daily basis.
Oh, that's good. No, that's good. That's good.
and every day is a challenge to overcome it. So at that time, I think, I don't know if I was just naive. I mean, I was 22 years old, right? The world felt like it was collapsing, but I was very fortunate. I did have a job.
Okay.
It was just an entry level job in finance, doing investor relations, but it paid the bills, and it was interesting enough. And I worked under an amazing, boss who was very hard on me in a very good way. He would
Okay.
tell me things like, if you don't know something, don't lie. Just say you don't know it, because then
Yeah.
you can go look it up, right? And go
Yeah.
figure it out, versus trying to BS your way through it. You're actually lying to yourself and hurting yourself. Just really sound advice like that. And then just really building a good work ethic. I mean, some people could view it as being exploitative. Is that, how do I say it? Exploitative.
Exploitative, I think.
There we go. Because we would pull 30-hour days sometimes.
Oh wow.
Because
That's like worse than residency, man.
Oh, it's comparable. I don't know. It's worse than residency. My
Oh my
wife is
God.
a pediatrician, so I don't know.
Oh,
if it's
okay.
worse.
So you've lived through that. So
I've lived through intern year. I feel like I call my joke with my wife and her friends. I'm like a pretend MD. Because we've been dating since second year of her med school, and she is I think she's a fifth year attending now. So
Okay.
it's been
All
a long
right.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Total side story. But coming back to that, I think having some just ignorance, right, helped, because it just allowed me to focus on, all right, what can I act on? What can I do today versus what is this fear? What is this, what is happening in the world, right? Which is outside of my control. And I think that's something that I don't know if I was very intentional about training myself to do in high school, in my teenage years. And I say that because I was, again, very fortunate to have grown up around educators. My parents are teachers. They're actually teachers.
Excellent.
And I don't know if you know Oakland University in Michigan, but
that's
where
I do.
My dad taught. And I was introduced to books like, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Dale Carnegie's, How to
the
Stop
good
Worrying
stuff. Oh yeah.
and Start Living. Stephen Covey's, obviously, 7 Habits for highly successful people. And then I think the How to Stop Worrying and Start Living was probably one of the earliest books that influenced on how I overcome fear.
Oh, nice.
Because fear is a form of worry, right?
Yes.
Fear is worry enhanced. And then I think fear is the end step, at least in my opinion, between worry. The next level after that is anxiety, and then is fear. Because fear, to me personally, is a feeling of helplessness, right? And if you don't kind of check your fear, if you don't check your worry, it builds up to that. And so, yeah, that's I think how I dealt with it the first time around. Was I was just a little bit ignorant. But today, even after all these years, fear still crops up because I don't check my worries. I don't check my worries. I don't check my beliefs, right, around things that may or may not be holding me back. For example, a belief that, am I qualified to run this startup, right?
The whole imposter syndrome creeping in.
Exactly. And,
oh my
and if
God.
I don't check that, it
it
leads into fear where I'm like, maybe I'm not qualified.
Yeah. No, that's real.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you were involved in, well, kudos to your family. Okay, so kudos to your dad and your mom for giving you books like that to read.
Yeah.
Because personal development as a teenager is very impressive, because I mean, most of the time, during the teenage years, you're just so busy just trying to figure out like which end is up, like which way am I
Yep. Your
going, like what am I
emotions.
doing. Yeah, super emotional, like, oh my God, what's happening here. And so yeah, kudos to them for molding your spirit as well, because that obviously has served you well over the years, right? I mean, that foundation helped you through some tough times. So that's excellent. So thank you,
Yeah.
Dad. Thank you, Dad. Say thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. Yeah.
For real. Yeah. And what you make, that point that you made is very valid in saying that, the worries that we have become our fears. And it's like we tend to blow things out of proportion a lot
Mm-hmm.
in our minds, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so having a strong mind and mindset is like number one brick on the foundation of being an entrepreneur. Because
Yeah.
if you don't, it's like impossible, because there
It's
are
impossible.
so many ups and downs, so many, like it's like all the time. Like sometimes you have ups and downs in one day,
Yeah.
and you can't be like an iceberg, as you mentioned before. You have to be
Yeah.
very adaptable. So you have to be able to look at a situation and say, okay, that maybe did not work out the way that I intended, but I learned this lesson or that lesson from that experience, and let me move on. And you have to be willing to switch gears and do the things. So yeah, no, I mean, I think that having the daily fear, that's real, that's like real talk.
Yeah.
And it is the thing that's going to actually propel you to be highly successful, right? Because you recognize it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you do something about it. Like you don't let it stop you. Like you see it, you recognize it, and you move to the next stage. So that's huge. That is huge. That's awesome. And so did you have you dealt with the big issues that you had. So in 2017, you dealt with that issue. And then again, most recently last year with getting your advanced degree and coming out and saying, okay, now I got to start my own thing, which is awesome, by the way, because I feel like we should all have our own thing, regardless of whether we continue with the main thing. We should still have our own thing on the side, because it's just good. It's good for your mind. It's good for like creativity and for mental toughness. I don't know. That's just my opinion though, but
no, I agree.
Yeah. And so, I am super excited about you having Clever FM. Is it Clever FM? Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
And also Alumni FM. I feel like those are two needed items. And I would love for you to actually let the audience know how they can get in touch with you and how they can have access to either of those. So if they're educational, if they have ties in an educational entity and they're interested in Alumni FM, for example, and if they are, like us, average Joes, out and about, and they want access to Clever FM.
Yeah. So for Alumni FM, you can just reach out to our team if you're interested in any kind of alumni or higher ed podcasting, production services, and ideation, everything, whole 9 yards. You can just reach out to us at team at alumni.fm. And then for Clever, you can just search for it in the App Store, both iOS and Android app stores. We are in there. You just search Clever FM or Clever Podcast, and we should pop up. It's a little pink octopus. Because part of the reasons happened to watch that Netflix special on My Octopus Teacher. And I was like, wow, octopus are so smart. It's
Octopi
clever.
Are super smart. They are. I'm like, wow. I thought dolphins were the only sentient ones, but I guess octopuses are also.
Yeah.
Is it octopuses or is it octopi? I don't know.
Octopi.
I never know. I never know. It's always a little tricky. And because of course, I'm looking for it right now as we speak.
Yeah. And if you can't find it, you can just get the link directly from our website at clever.fm. Pretty simple. Trying to keep it simple.
Yeah, no, that's the best.
I guess to add on to that, for any podcast hosts listening, we are currently offering our free services to Clever enable your podcast. Now, what does that mean? what we'll do is, we'll listen to your show or go through your show, basically, let's say this episode, and we will extract linkable moments and turn them into visual cards. So as you're listening in our app, there's actually a time-stamped card to, let's say clever.fm, the website. There's a time-stamped card to, let's say, how to stop worrying and start living, right? From Dale Carnegie. So that
Nice.
you can go click through and buy that book if you want to, and drive affiliate sales or links to products for your show. And what we
Awesome.
also do is we tag episodes as well. So those are all the things we do.
Fantastic.
We can have discussion too in app.
Oh, you can. I'm looking at it now. See, hey guys, I just clicked into it. I have to sign up though, because it says you have to sign up. I was just doing like the little intro thing here.
Onboarding thing.
Cool. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm going to take a better look at that when we're done recording. But yes, no, that's fantastic. I definitely will sign up for sure as a podcaster, and I will definitely utilize it because it looks like a really fun app to use. I love the interactive component of it. So I think we're going to try this. Be great. Get your momentum and get everything expanded. So you'd be like a household name like Apple and Spotify.
Yep. That's the idea.
Fantastic. Awesome. So we are at that part of the show where we have our fill in the blanks. So Sean, Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for fill in the blanks? Okay, fantastic. All right. So the first one is, if I am fearless, I will.
If I am fearless, I will love better.
Awesome. Is your wife around? Is she hearing this?
She's getting off soon.
Oh my gosh. She's going to hear it. She'll hear the recording. I'll make sure you fast forward to that part. Okay. And then to me, fearless freedom means?
To me, fearless freedom means peace of mind.
Awesome. And then last but not least, my battle cry is?
Huzzah.
I love it. I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and spending it with us. And thank you for sharing, that I was a Michigander for a short period, probably like 16 years.
Yeah.
My children are Michiganders.
I think actually 22 years.
22 years for you. Yeah. So, there was that commonality between us, and then we both moved to warm places. So there's that too. And then you have a doctor in your family, right? Your significant other is a doctor. So that's fantastic. So all good things. All good things. All right.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I thank you. Yeah. I thank you for coming on, and it was awesome.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.